Should be recording. Okay, so again, we're going to celebrate today our two new diamond coaches, Lisa and Vanessa. Okay, so first, is Lisa even on here to hear me talking about her? I can't see anymore.
Yes.
Okay, good. First, I want to talk about Lisa. She was kind of a surprise to me when she talked to me about joining. And right from the beginning, Lisa came in with a mindset of, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So I knew that from the beginning she was going to take it seriously, but I had no idea how quickly she was going to grow and how much of an impact she was going to have on the people in her life and her family, and just getting to see her personally kind of transform. She has two little boys, and they're both pretty young, so she is a busy and sleep-deprived mama, and she has built this thing basically in between, you know, taking care of her kids and her husband and all of the other life responsibilities she has. She is super humble about how amazing she is, so you may not even realize what a whirlwind force she is, because she doesn't really talk a lot about herself kind of in that way online or anything, but she is so dedicated and incredible, and she has quite a little team of incredible ladies under her, and just to see her get to Diamond today was super, super exciting, and I know that that momentum is going to carry her into the new year for some really cool things. Next, I want to talk about Vanessa, who you guys know and love because she's around and always encouraging everybody and always helping people when they have questions. So Vanessa has, she's been, I guess, maybe you've been with me the longest now. As far as like business builders go, that's everybody that's still around and doing stuff. But Vanessa is pretty much the most dedicated person I've ever met. And I said this on my Facebook, but I'll say it again. But all the time, every time I'm talking to Vanessa, every time we get on the phone to kind of strategize and game plan, I come into it with like, okay, I've got this great idea to tell Vanessa, and she ends up like schooling me on stuff. She ends up giving me like pep talks and like giving me like examples of how to be positive and think about stuff in a better way. And I always leave the conversation like, I feel like Vanessa is mentoring me instead of the other way around. So I feel like I get so much out of getting to know Vanessa, and I know that a lot of other people on the team can feel the same way, and the people that are on her team to do as well. And so this is just a really, really exciting day for her to get to have that official title back of Diamond, and I know that it's going to be, I mean, just the beginning of a lot of celebrations for both of these ladies moving forward. So I'm really, really, really excited for both of them. Congratulations, you guys. Next, I wanted to just touch on Success Club really quick. We already have a bunch of people qualified for the month, which is awesome. And with some still have a ton of people on the board. We have a couple people with, 2 and 4 points. It's so close. And we have Mandy. I don't think she's on here yet, but in case you listen, Mandy is someone who's been around as a discount coach for a while and is just kind of dabbling in whether or not she wants to do this. And she hit Success Club too, like within a week of telling me that. So congratulations, Mandy. That is really, really, really exciting, and we're happy to have you with us. Okay, so let's jump right in. Today we have the beautiful and talented Miss Lynda Suttles here to speak with us today. Lynda I have known as an internet friend just through different she's one of Lindsay's coaches as well, and so through different Bombshell Dynasty groups, I've gotten to know her a little bit, but it wasn't really until the Bombshell retreat that we were just at that I got to meet her in person and, hear her speak in real life and just kind of be amazed by how inspiring she is. And so I'm really, really excited that she agreed to speak with you guys today. She was one of Lindsay's first diamonds, actually. So she's been around Beachbody for a while and has a really, really, really great perspective on it that's a little different than maybe what you're used to hearing. So I'm going to hand it over to her. And Lynda, if you need me to switch the slides and I haven't yet, just shout at me.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for having me host tonight, Becca. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to talk to your team. Like Becca said, my story is definitely a little different than what you probably are used to hearing from other people who are speaking as leaders on the team. I am one of Lindsay's first 15 Diamond coaches, and I was in her first business center, and I'm probably one of the slowest turtles on her team. I've really 100% worked this business in my spare time, and I recently sold my other business. I worked as a barbershop owner. I've been cutting hair for 23 years, or 24 years actually, and I've owned my own business for the last 14. So I'm 43 years old. I'm a total introvert. So it has taken a lot of personal development to get me to where I am today, where I'm comfortable speaking on a call like this. And I still will be chugging water and stuff like that because my mouth gets really dry. But I have two grown sons that are 20 and 22 years old. And I've always been goal driven. So whenever I set a goal, there's always I have to be looking for something else to achieve. And I found myself after cutting hair for 24 years and after owning my own barbershop the last 14 years, I really hit a ceiling on my income, and I was bored. I was extremely bored. It was wearing on my body tremendously. I was cutting hair for 10 to 12 hours a day. 4 to 5 days a week, and it was just exhausting mentally and physically. So I really wanted to do something else, and when I found this definitely was a nice little, it was kind of a dream, I would have to say, mainly in the beginning. I didn't think it was something I could accomplish, but it was something that I thought, maybe we'll see how this goes. I'm definitely a sapphire personality. I will jump in both feet for anything that's fun. So I love to do mud runs and OCRs and that kind of thing. I do not have an emerald personality whatsoever. I'm not organized. And for me to do this, set up these little slides for y'all should be really impressed right now because this is not something that I normally do. My team calls are all video. And when I make videos for my YouTube channel, they're one-shot Nelly. So I do not edit. I don't do anything. Like, what you see is what you get when it comes to me. So I'm motivated by fun, travel, prizes, and I hate paperwork. When Lindsay, actually, one of the things that she did to inspire me to go diamond was she offered a cruise for her first 15 diamond coaches. And I'm like, cruise, sign me up. I'll be there. What do I got to do? So that's how I kind of really got started in this business. And it was all about a cruise. You can go on to the next slide. Okay, so we all have to start somewhere if we're ever going to get anywhere. And I became a coach on April 7th of 2011 after I had been a challenger. I went diamond April 25th, 2012, so almost a whole year later it took me to go diamond. I've been an active diamond on the team ever since. Today I have 3 emeralds on my left leg, and I have 2. Actually, I think I goofed on that. I have 3 emeralds on my left leg and 2 on my right. I was placed in an undesirable spot in Lindsay's downline because, like I said, I was one of her first coaches that she signed up that actually got placed on an inside leg by accident, and she wasn't able to make the switch until after she figured that out. So she placed me as her personally sponsored, but under his inside leg too. So it was just a big mess up. So unlike most people in the Bombshell Dynasty, I will never have a strong leg like that. So unless I actually get some big growers. So I'm always keeping my legs very balanced. And my volume runs around 2,000, and each will jump up to where they have like 10, 15,000 volume on one leg pretty quickly, where I will never see that unless I build it myself. So I'm kind of like Lindsay. I built my team from scratch, 100% on both sides. So my why is I became a coach after joining a challenge group and realizing how simple it was to be a coach. I absolutely loved everything about it. I loved the Shakeology. I wanted the discount, and I enjoyed the experience of the team group atmosphere. Lindsay really did a great job in her challenge groups creating a family atmosphere. And there was a lot of love and support and motivation, which I absolutely was not getting at home for the workouts. It was something, but I loved the support that I got in the groups. So ultimately, I could see the possibility where Lindsay was doing really well as a coach. She was pulling people in left and right. And I thought, I was really introverted, so I didn't see that I could do that quite as big as she was. I had very little belief and very little faith in myself at that time. So it took a lot of, like I said, personal development over time to see that I could do what she was doing. But I did see it. I saw the possibility. So I signed up as a coach. You can go on to the next one. All right, so my very first paycheck on April 20th of 2011 was $19.44. It was the second week after I was a coach. And I think it was because I signed my husband up actually under me. I was like, okay, I'm a coach. How do I do this? How do I grow? And she said, well, you got to go Emerald. I'm like, okay, so how do I do that? She said, well, you have to sign 2 coaches under you. I'm like, I'll just sign up my husband. He's going to drink Shakeology too. He's going to love this stuff. So that was my first paycheck, was signing him up. I'm pretty sure that's where I got that. And then my biggest paycheck in 2011 was $91.92. Big whoop, right? Obviously, I wasn't growing really fast, but I knew and that I was comfortable talking to about the Beachbody experience. And people who saw me actually changing, they saw that I lost 20 pounds and that I was really physically and mentally coming out of a cocoon that I built around myself for a long time. So those people wanted what I was doing, and it was just literally seeing me. So I finished out 2011 earning a whole $707.81. When I first signed up as a coach, my husband thought I was crazy. He said, you run a great business, you make good money, there's no reason you need to do this, it's just silly. And I said, I think I can do it. So when you tell me I can't, that's really just a go green light for me to push harder and say, I'll show you I can. So that's kind of what I did, even though I was slow and I had to do this in my spare time. So ultimately, I learned a lot that year. I went Emerald ASAP by signing up my husband and my very first challenger, who was just an amazing challenger. She was somebody who was super active in the group. She loved the Shakeology. She was losing weight, and she loved the products as much as I did. And I said, well, you just got to do it, at least for the discount. So that was how I went Emerald. In 2012, that was the year I started growing as a leader. That was the year I started reading personal development. I started learning a little more like how the business worked and wanted to grow and be able to help my team too. I definitely was not a leader out of the box. My very first paycheck my first paycheck over $100 was on February 22nd, and it was $143.98. It may not sound like a lot to many, but that provided money for my boys to attend wrestling tournaments that I couldn't afford otherwise. Even though I ran a brick and mortar business, you guys have to understand that there's so much money that goes. My rent was over $1,000 a month, plus all of my expenses. I was really usually putting out about $2,000 a month just in expenses to keep my other business running. And then I had my bills to pay on top of that. And with 2 teenage boys and the expenses of them, it was really hard to keep things going and to be able to provide for them the way I wanted to. So the Beachbody coaching for me was such a great way to say, I can't afford that. Yes, if you want to go to these tournaments, I can send you. Or you need new wrestling shoes? Okay, I can sell another challenge pack. So those little things, like I said, the money didn't seem big, but it was definitely things that on a weekly basis, it provided a lot of things for my family. So my biggest paycheck in 2012 was $365. That was huge to me. I'm like, dang, do you know what I mean? A lot of people are thinking, how much time they have to invest in that. And for me, it was really in my spare time. This business has never taken over my life. It's something I did in between customers at the barbershop. I would be on my phone, checking emails, checking in my challenge groups, seeing how people were doing. And I really didn't spend a lot of time on this at home. It was something that I was doing in between, and most of the time I ran it straight from my phone. So a couple of coaches on my team started to work the business, while most of them were just discount coaches. And I ended the year earning $8,523.13. You can go on to the next. Okay, so in 2013, I got comfortable and I realized at the end of the year that something had to change. Hey, babe. Some coaches came and some coaches left. My feelings got hurt and my ego was bruised easily, and I wasn't sure what I was doing wrong. I stayed consistent in my business and was determined to keep going. It's like a squirrel around here, little noises or anything, like I really scatterbrained. So I stayed consistent in my business. I was determined to keep going, and I could see the big picture, but I struggled to grow as a leader. I wasn't sure how to motivate people because this was nothing that I had ever really done in my business before. Even though I owned a business, everybody was very independent. So when it came to building their clientele, they really had to do it on their own, just like I did. My biggest paycheck that particular year was $748.21. And I could see that as long as I kept going and I was consistent and doing my work, that I was always going to grow. As long as I was always looking for somebody else to add to my team. And, you know, I knew this was kind of a numbers game. Like, you just always have to be looking for people because you never know when people are going to get it the way we do. You know, when I signed up as a coach, I mean, I did see the big picture. I knew what was possible, and I knew I would have to work for it. I didn't know how long it was going to take, and I didn't really want to set deadlines on myself because I could still only do this in my spare time. I had another business to run and teenagers to raise and a husband to take care of in a house. So I had to do this at my pace, and I really didn't want anybody pushing me. And that's one of the things I loved about this business. Like, you can be passionate about it, and you can do it at your pace. You are the CEO of your own business. So, after my feelings got hurt and some people come and went, and they just, it was like some people get burnt out really quick. So I think it was maybe that they worked too hard, too much, and they didn't see enough growth quickly in this business. And this is something that consistency really pays off. And I knew that. I knew that if I just stuck with it and just kept doing the little things every day, that it would keep growing. But some people didn't see that big picture. So in December, I found my success partner. I put up a little post in one of the Bombshell Diamonds groups, and I said, I need somebody who will push me. This is me. This is where I'm at in my business, and this is where I want to go. And I need somebody who will hold me accountable. I posted what my personality was and how the things that I struggled with in this business. And I just said, I need somebody who will push me to do the things that I'm uncomfortable doing, making videos, creating team trainings, that kind of stuff. And Amanda Summerall was the one who answered that little post, and she said, I'm in, let's get on the phone, let's call. So we got on the phone and we hit it off instantly, and we talked for 2 hours, and we've been on the phone. We're inseparable ever since. So she's really been somebody who's just been wonderful and a godsend in this business to me. Although I haven't grown still a lot in this business, a lot of people think, you've been in this business for almost 4 years and you're still just Diamond. But just Diamond has earned me $50,000. So it's not a bad thing in the last 3.5 years. Amanda has pushed me, and I've pushed her the same thing. We're very similar. We both have that sapphire personality, and we have pushed each other to create videos, to create team trainings. We've pushed our groups together. In one group, we call it Together is Better. And we run everything together. We run challenge groups together, we run our team trainings together, and we really support each other. So even if one of us has something crazy going on in our life and we just can't get the time to get into that group, then the other one lifts the other one up. So if I'm Amanda, I'm going out of town, I can't handle the next couple of days, can you take it over? She's like, sure, I can do it. And vice versa. We always do that for each other. So I highly recommend everybody finds a success partner if you can. And we can go on to the next. All right, so in 2014, I invested more time in personal development. Well, this is something that I've always invested time in throughout this business, but I've grown very slowly. But this year, I've really, really put in a lot more time to it. So I would say at least 4 to 5 hours a week I spend listening to team trainings from other teams. My attention span is horrible when it comes to sitting down and reading a book. So audio is what works for me, or videos. So I do spend about 5 hours a week listening to that kind of stuff that really helps me grow my business. I still have 5 Emerald coaches. I have 151 coaches in my entire downline and 30 personally sponsored coaches. I did sell my barbershop finally August 1st, 2014, and that was a huge, huge goal for me. And it was something that it took me forever. I had it for sale for about 1.5 years before it actually sold. And it was one of those things where by the time it finally did, it was just such a weight off my shoulder. And I'm just proud. When I sell this business, I can work this business, Beachbody, more full time. I can spend more time in it. But since we sold the barbershop, my son has gone away into the Marines. We've remodeled our kitchen. Our house has been a shambles. We're literally like tearing up one thing and fixing another. So I still haven't put a lot of time in this business. I've still been working at spare time. And so it still hasn't grown. Like I thought, August 1st to December, I'm going to take off. Things are going to go crazy. But it's really still just been spare time I've been putting into it. So my sons have moved out. One joined the Marines. And needless to say, it's been kind of an emotional year for me. But it's all been good. And all of my support with the Bombshell Dynasty and the leaders on this team and everything has been such a huge life changer for me. So I really appreciate it. My biggest paycheck this year was $962.10. And to date, I've earned $23,699.34 this year with just Beachbody. So you can see that things grow over time. And it's a big picture that you have to look at. So 2011 was $707. 2012, $85.23. 2013 was $17,000. 2014 was a grand total of a little over $50,000. Consistency pays off, people. And I only do this, like, if I could give you the big picture of this, like literally spend 2 hours a day on this business and it will pay off huge. And if your heart is in it and you're really there to help people and it's not about the money will come. It'll just be natural and it'll flow towards you. So work this business, don't ever give up, and even the turtles reach the top of the hill eventually.
Thank you so much, Lynda. Are you able to stick around for a couple minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let me stop recording and switch back to the screen share.